Hey everyone, welcome to this Solar Eclipse Sidereal Astrology report for the days surrounding Thursday, September 1st, 2016. I'm Athen, and this is for Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link down below because the signs are different. All right, so very powerful time of the year here, these eclipses, and this one is a new beginning, solar eclipse, new transformations, and it's very much so because it's associated with the North Node, which is about new beginnings and life path changes. So new beginnings with our life path, which has been shifting collectively this year into Leo, and that's where we've got this solar eclipse in the sky. If you look up at the sky, you will see the solar eclipse in front of Leo, especially if you're using a smartphone. So here with this, we've got this new powerful new beginning to express ourselves, to tap into our inner spark, our inner flame, that inner self. And that's what Leo is all about, is about expressing that inner self into something or through something. You know, the medium can change. The medium might be creative for some of us. For others, it might be hobbies or interests. Others, it might be with children, if you have children in your life, or maybe new children coming into your life. Could also be some of us playful in a sense of maybe romantic, lighthearted, you know, that kind of zest for life, which can be implemented in all types of relationships. So the essence here is about the qualities of Leo, which is about expression. It's about lightheartedness. It's about playfulness. It's about tapping into that inner child, entertaining, enjoyable, right? These are the qualities that are starting to shift, and we are going to notice this more and more as the solar eclipse unfolds in the coming weeks and months. But there's something new being planted here collectively for all of us to connect to this inner self. So very powerful. It's all about learning with the North Node. You know, this is very new. It's saying that collectively this year, it's been 16 to 18 years since we've had the North Node in Leo. And so we're learning about it. It's like a time of, you know, the universe, so to speak, telling us that it's time now to put energy into the self-expression, that it may have been neglected, in fact, you know, in these prior years, specifically the past, you know, what would it be, like 8 years, the halfway point. So it's new. And so with the newness, being open to learning, being open to trying new things, flexible, adaptive. This is all the kind of qualities we want to work with during any new moon sort of cycle, because things aren't really unfolding yet. It's still early. And so it's a good time to listen. It's a good time to sit with the energies. And that's very visual too, as you can see. You know, it's the sun, which is normally the dominant energy in the sky during the day. Now the moon eclipses it, suggesting that this is a spiritual time. This is a time of listening. This is a time of listening to our intuition, but also, you know, our perspective and the guidance that we might be getting at this time, right? So it's about openness, and it's through that openness, each of us individually can gain these insights, can perhaps start to see things in a new way. And I think it's all collectively shaping up relating to Leo, self-expression, creativity, that inner spark. So this solar eclipse is going to be collectively challenging. As you can see here, it is forming a T-square, opposing up to Neptune, squaring up to Saturn. I've already been talking a lot about this Saturn squaring Neptune energy, but now it's very much shaping up regarding these new beginnings. So first of all, Saturn, this is where this eclipse will require us to challenge ourselves, to be patient with these new beginnings, to be present with them, even, especially with Neptune, right? To have persistence and be grounded and be responsible and to take these things seriously. And a lot of this is so that we can be building things this year that are what really matters to us. That's been Saturn in Scorpio, helping us connect to what truly matters to us and in our lives. You know, depth, intimacy, openness, truth, connectivity, both with ourselves, others, and our environment, and with life. You know, really connecting to life on that essential level. And Mars is here. Mars is very close to Saturn, which has been putting on the brakes a bit in terms of where we can be putting our energy, but our desires right now, squaring up to that solar eclipse, need balancing. They need to be brought back into healthy balance. Our independence needs to be brought back into balance at this time. So with this, being aware of the self, being aware of the intentions, being aware of the ego in many ways with Mars. And in that way, then it becomes constructive because we can listen, we can hear what, our minds or, even our bodies might be telling us about what motivates us, what drives us, what we want in life. But in a square, we have to be balanced because it can have a tendency of imbalancing it where we might be too assertive, too independent, too much of that self-orientation to where it imbalances things. All right, so with the extra attention there on the self, it can be, again, very constructive to move these things forward. And the motivation can certainly be there, which is good. So with that conjunction there, that of course has been squaring up to Neptune. Neptune has been getting closer, or rather the south node has been getting closer to Neptune. So this is suggesting that there's some old ideals. There's some old unhealthy ideals perhaps from our past, maybe past lives, karmically. All right, this is the south node, which is about the past energy, now conjoining up to Neptune, which is about idealism, escapism, when it's done in these extreme ways, hiding away, this illusory energy. Right? So it's in this same fashion, being aware of if there might be any old unhealthy patterns that are recurring in our life that have to do with this over extreme of Neptune, this hiding away, this escapism, this seeing things in a deceptive manner, of not seeing the truth. So it's a good time to be aware that we have them or what they might be, or we may have them, and then to accept them. And it's really in the acceptance process, that part of it, because we first have to be aware of something before we can accept it. But once the acceptance happens, we'll notice that these energies are naturally going. They're naturally leaving. We don't have to push them away. In fact, we don't want to because it'll continue to persist. So this is the south node side of it, emphasizing that there's a spiritual development taking place with all this. There's a connection to true Neptunian energies, which is presence, which is acceptance of things for how they are, the way that they are, both, again, ourself, our relationships, and life. And it's through that serves the foundation for us to then express ourselves, to move that energy into that Leo. Because, especially with Aquarius, we can't have self-expression if we don't have healthy ideals, if we don't have a healthy perspective of the future. Right, which is again accessed through presence, but connecting to that progressiveness, to the ideals that are about helping and giving and contributing to things larger than self. And when we have that perspective of things larger than self and wanting to be a part of those things, or at least contribute to those things, it serves the foundation for us to really get into what we enjoy and what's creative for us and what we can create that is both for ourselves, because it's enjoyable, which is Leo, and for the world, because we can't have one without the other. What is enjoyable for us is also what the world needs. And this is what is shaping up. The world needs us to be expressing ourselves, to be doing what we enjoy, to be cultivating that inner flame. And then as a result, it will contribute here. But if we solely go into the ideals and solely go into the worldly affairs and all these things about the future, it can imbalance us. And then we don't have that cultivation. It's about both. But here it's the releasing of the old to make way for the new. And speaking of that, Pluto trining up to this solar eclipse, making this very powerful for change. In fact, collectively and individually, perhaps we could be wanting change. There's a part of us that is willing to change, to clear the old, to change the old, to detach. Very powerful, very supportive here to have this during the solar eclipse. And Pluto being in Sagittarius, this is about our belief systems changing. How important is it to have healthy belief systems, to see possibilities, to see potentials, to have open horizons, and to strip away all of those things that might be limiting that. But it's very supportive here. I think we're willing to do that. I think it can come easy. And I think just very naturally, our belief systems are changing, which again is supporting these new beginnings regarding our self-expression, our creative self-expression here. All right, so that is the solar eclipse. Very powerful being a solar eclipse, but also because of its aspects that it's forming. Squaring Saturn, requiring patience and persistence, healthy responsibility, so we can build things that truly matter to us in life. Mars, to bring extra attention to the self so we can motivate ourselves and pursue those desires, but in a balanced and healthy way. And with Neptune, releasing any old ideals, any old tendencies to escape or want to go into that, illusory energy that just gets us more caught up into the old karmic cycles. And it's about releasing them, accepting them, and fundamentally living in the present moment. In the present moment without projecting onto the future, because it's the projection of the future that creates doubt with Neptune, creates uncertainty. And that's what Aquarius is all about. It's all about the future. It's all about our ideals, all about what the world needs. But in order to cultivate that right now, collectively, is the time for each of us to access that inner spark, which is Leo. All right, so that's the solar eclipse. Let me go ahead and pull up the transits so you can see them. Again, this report is for the surrounding days, the 31st. Not a whole lot going on. And leading up to the 1st, it's the balsamic phase, which means the ending of the last lunar cycle. So it's good to meditate. It's good to bring some presence, some awareness to our everyday lives here when as we approach that eclipse. That eclipse will be at 0506 Eastern time. And these are the aspects that we talked about. As we go into tomorrow, it'll be particularly emphasizing the Neptune side of it. So again, acceptance and presence can be particularly helpful going into the weekend. And what's nice with all of this is Mercury is conjoining up to Jupiter in Virgo. So there is a good conjunction here. This is Mercury retrograde. It's about learning more about potentials, learning more about these belief systems, reconsidering, again, the importance of that open-mindedness and adventurous spirit. But it's requiring detail. This is all Virgo. It's requiring a bit of methodical approach. We got to cross those T's, dot those I's. We got to take care of these everyday things and these details in order to cultivate these potentials, these possibilities. And that's what Jupiter and Virgo is showing us. All right, but that conjunction can make us quite open-minded to, again, see possibilities. Maybe some insights will be coming in on Friday, but that will be after the solar eclipse. We'll talk more about Friday as we do the weekend report. All right. So that's this solar eclipse report in a nutshell. If you guys do have any questions, please let me know. Hope you guys have a fantastic solar eclipse. I want to thank you all very much for all of your support, and I'll see you all for the weekend.